Yo, what is up guys, Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, a quick preview and prediction for Demetrius Andrade versus Liam Williams. This fight goes down on the 17th of April and it takes place in the USA. This fight will be televised on DAZN both in the UK and the USA, and obviously Demetrius Andrade's WBO middleweight title will be on the line. And yeah, all in all, I like this fight and I am looking forward to it. Given where both guys are at in their careers, I think it's a good fight for both guys. Obviously Liam Williams had those defeats to Liam Smith back at 154. You know, those defeats were surrounded by some controversy, but since then he's been on the comeback trail at middleweight. He's looked good, but we need to see that at world-class level, and Andrade will definitely test how good Liam Williams actually is. And as for Demetrius Andrade, you know, this guy's now been a middleweight champion for over 2 years. He's actually a two-weight world champion, and when you look at his resume, it really is lacking. And Liam Williams is certainly one of the more interesting opponents that Andrade's fought in recent years. So I think this fight really does make sense for both guys, considering where they're at in their careers. But enough of that, let's briefly break down the tale of the tape. We shall start with the favourite and the champion, Demetrius Andrade. Demetrius Andrade has a perfect record of 29-0, 18 of those 29 wins coming by way of knockout, and Liam Williams has a record of 23 wins, 2 defeats, 1 draw, 18 of those 23 wins coming by way of knockout, and the defeats on his resume are both at the hands of Liam Smith. Now let's briefly talk about the height and reach. Demetrius Andrade is listed as 6 foot with a 73.5 inch reach, whereas Liam Williams is listed as 5'10" with a 70 inch reach. So Andrade has the height and reach advantage, a 2-inch height advantage, and a 3.5 inch reach advantage. Now I think that could be a factor going into this fight given how both guys do fight, but we'll get into that a bit later. Demetrius Andrade is a southpaw, Liam Williams is an orthodox fighter. Demetrius Andrade now 33 years old, believe it or not, whereas Liam Williams is 28 years old. So also going into this fight, Andrade is the more experienced fighter, and he's not one of those experienced fighters who's got a lot of wear and tear on the clock. He's still quite fresh for a 33-year-old, and really that speaks in regards to his resume. But yeah, now the tale of the tape is out of the way, I guess we shall break down the style clash, what each guy should do, and eventually who I believe will win this fight. And I guess we shall start with the challenger, Liam Williams. Liam Williams really is an aggressive fighter, a pressure fighter who can box. He's got nice punch technique, he's quite good at mid-range, and he's very capable on the inside. You know, he generates quite a lot of power with his wide and looping shots. You know, for example, his hooks and his overhand. And, you know, Liam Williams' problem in this fight is to get to the mid-range and the inside and continuously make Andrade move back and get him in stationary positions against the ropes in the corner where he can fire his power shots. Liam Williams in this fight needs to apply that relentless pressure, which we've seen in most of his fights since his losses to Liam Smith. And yeah, in this fight, he needs to apply that pressure. I think he would be better suited at coming forwards behind a nice tight high guard, be nice and compact, you know, try and block those straight shots of Demetrius Andrade while coming forwards. I think Andrade's best punches are his straight punches. So for example, he's got a nice snappy jab and also a pretty good straight left hand when he commits to it. I think a good tight guard can negate a lot of those shots that are coming from straight. Andrade can throw those hooks, but for me, Andrade's wide punches aren't really the danger because his punch technique on hooks and wide punches in general is pretty poor. So if some of those shots get round the guard, I don't think Liam Williams really has too much to be worried about. So yeah, I think Liam needs to come forwards behind a nice tight high guard and continuously fire that ramrod jab out of that guard as he's moving forwards to manoeuvre Demetrius Andrade where he wants him and get him into stationary positions on the ropes or in the corner. And obviously once you have Andrade in that position, that's when you need to fire away and let go of those power shots, work body and head. You know, Andrade typically is a mover, so every time Liam can do it, he cannot afford to neglect that body. You know, he can't afford to headhunt too much Of course he could land the perfect shot. Liam does hit hard, but he cannot afford to neglect the body in this fight. And basically I think Liam should fight this way in only one direction, and that is coming forwards. I don't want to see Liam Williams stand off Andrade and pouring with Andrade, because he's going to get outboxed and he's going to get caught. So, I think Liam needs to be the all-out aggressor in this fight. We saw the fight between Demetrius Andrade and Jack Kolkai. Jack Kolkai's a shorter guy who came forwards behind a real nice tight guard and a hard jab, and he was applying pressure. And that style really gave Andrade problems. And that style of Jack Kolkai gave Andrade problems when Kolkai does not have the punching power of Liam Williams, So if I was Liam Williams, that's the fight I would be looking at in regards to fighting Demetrius Andrade. It's that Jack Kolkai fight. Jack Kolkai did nothing special in that fight, just maintained good balance, remained defensively responsible, compact, and he was applying some effective pressure in that fight. I think that's the fight that Liam Williams needs to watch. And obviously Liam Williams can do things Jack Kolkai couldn't, including having good punching power. So that's what I'd be looking at if I was Liam Williams, because I think Liam does have the power to hurt Andrade, maybe even put him down. We saw Andrade get dropped against Vanes Martelosian, for example. Andrade can be pressured and he can be dropped, as we've seen. I think Andrade is a rhythm fighter. He is very unorthodox at times, and he likes to fight within his pace, his rhythm. I think he's one of those fighters, and this is the impression I get with Andrade, where if you let him fight in his rhythm, he's going to box you, dance around you, and win comfortably on points. But if you can sway this guy from his rhythm and disrupt his rhythm, then he's not the same fighter, and he doesn't adapt particularly well, as we saw in the Jack Kolkai fight, as we saw in his fight with Vanes Martelosian. Those guys managed to disrupt his rhythm, and in my opinion, Andrade looked pretty ordinary. Honestly, when Andrade fights that guy who breaks his rhythm, I think a lot of people will see that Andrade is not really a versatile fighter, and he's not great at adapting, because I didn't see great adaptation in his fight with Kolkai or Vanes Martelosian. So yeah, Liam needs to mess him around, make it a rough, tough fight, continuously close the distance, negate that jab of Andrade, come in low, come in with head movement, and just work. Williams has to apply relentless pressure to win this fight. It's just that simple. Can't afford to box with Andrade, play the counter-puncher, try and act cute. Needs to apply pressure, simple as that. Now, as for Demetrius Andrade, as we said in the tail of the tape, he does have a 3.5-inch reach advantage and a 2-inch height advantage. And obviously the key for Andrade is to utilise those physical advantages. That means keeping this fight on the outside. Maintain that distance and keep Liam Williams behind the end of that long jab, and also the straight left hand when it presents itself. Keep popping that long jab, keep on taking that half step back, and try to minimise the times where your back touches the ropes or touches the corner. Andrade needs to keep this at distance, keep on taking the half step back, stepping around Liam Williams, continuously make him reset and make him chase the fight that way. If he can continuously make Williams reset, then that's half a fight won for him, because Liam is not really great at punching on the front foot. He needs to really set his feet and plant his feet to get that same sort of power on his shots. So yeah, Andrade needs to keep on turning Liam Williams, keeping him off balance, and if he does that, like I say, he should be winning these rounds relatively comfortably. And as the fight does go on, then Liam could get more desperate, and that's when the opportunities for hard counters will present themselves. And when those opportunities arise, Andrade should really try and take them. One more thing as well, it might actually pay Andrade to catch Liam Williams with something big early on, just to kind of stem that pressure from Liam Williams. Liam Williams is a very reactive fighter. He'll really try and bite on what his opponent is doing to set up his offense. So Andrade maybe keep on pouring with that lead hand, make Liam Williams commit and then nail him with a straight left counter, or feint, draw Liam Williams in and again nail him with that straight left counter, or even the uppercut for that matter. Liam Williams is definitely open for that shot when he's coming forwards. So yeah, I do believe it's maybe beneficial for Andrade to hurt Liam Williams early on to stem that pressure. And also bear in mind, and this is my opinion, but I think Liam Williams is one of those kind of on-top fighters, a flat-track bully, if you will. We actually saw that in the Liam Smith fight. Early on in that fight, Liam Williams was really piecing up Liam Smith, and eventually as that fight went on, Liam Smith started to get back into it, he started to apply pressure, and it looked like Liam Williams did not want to be there. Obviously that fight ended controversially with a headbutt from Liam Smith, but Liam Williams did not look too disappointed. He looked like he was happy to be out of there. So I think if Andrade connects early on with something big, something hurtful, that could easily put Liam Williams in his place. I think Liam Williams is that on-top fighter. When it's going well for him, he's going to keep on coming forwards, landing those big shots, and he's very dangerous. But if you put him in his place, I think he can be domesticated. So yeah, I think Andrade should definitely look at trying to put it on Liam Williams to some degree in this fight. But ultimately, when I look at both guys, when I compare the styles, when I compare the physical attributes, I have to say I've got Demetrius Andrade winning this fight, and I would say it will be on points, like a pretty routine points win for Demetrius Andrade, though I would not be surprised if Andrade scored a late stoppage in this fight, but I'm heavily leaning towards Andrade in this fight, and that is my prediction. Liam Williams is going to be one of those opponents where if Andrade, in my opinion, is on form, he wins this fight comfortably. However, if he's not taking Liam Williams seriously, then there could be an upset because Liam can punch, he is aggressive, and he's a good finisher. So Andrade needs to be on his P's and Q's. It's a dangerous fight, but a very winnable fight at the same time. So yeah, I've got Demetrius Andrade to win this fight, more than likely on points, but I wouldn't be shocked if it were a late stoppage. But yeah, what about you guys? How are you feeling about this fight? Who are you picking to win? And how are you picking them to win? Share your thoughts below. Beanie Guy Del Boy. Peace.